Hi, V.
Hi, Sharon. I'm so happy to be here on this incredibly thrilling night with you.
This is amazing. I'm so grateful always. I mean, in my mind, I feel like, each time I ask you to just be a part of something that I'm doing, as long as I've known you, you've always said yes. I mean, unless you've been so tied up that you just couldn't, you've always said yes. And I just wanted to thank you for that. Thank you so much for that.
Well, I think one of the reasons I say yes every time you ask me is because you're such a force of light and transformation, and watching you and getting to be on this journey with you and being your friend and your co-conspirator on this journey has been one of the great joys of my life. I mean, to know you inside Bedford Hills and know you 11 years outside Bedford, and to see who you become, what magic you've made in this world, what goodness, what transformation, what support of women inside and outside. It's really remarkable, and I feel privileged to be in your life and to be with you in this work.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you know what? I'm thinking back to when we first met, right? When I was incarcerated at Bedford and we heard about Eve Ensler coming to the prison to create this wonderful workshop out of the family violence program at that time. And so what I remember is the day when I came down to group and you were there and you were so vibrant and you had so much energy and so much like love. You it was like we had all knew each other and knew you from the very beginning. Do you remember it like that?
I do. You know, I was invited to Bedford Hills by Glenn Close because originally she wanted to do a film about Sister Elaine Roulet, our sister, and what she had done, really working to get mothers to see their children in prison. And then I met all the women, and I was like, no, like I want to do a story about the women in prison because these women are so powerful and so just their lives are so compelling and interesting, and I really felt like people didn't know women in prison. They didn't know what happened before women got to prison, what happened in prison, and what happened after women got out. And I feel all those years, I think it was 8 or 9 years that I did the writing group at Bedford, were some of the most just profound years of my life. And meeting you, even though you weren't ultimately in the writing group, you were in the first group, I just your energy and your life force and your humor and um just I just immediately connected with you. And I was thinking about, Reentry Rocks and what you've done, and there's nothing about this that's surprising to me, because even then you were so entrepreneurial. Even then you were so all right, we've got this problem, but how do we turn our poison into medicine? How do we turn what's been done to us and what's harmed us, how do we turn this into what's going to empower us and move us forward? And to see the work you've done with Reentry Rocks, with your catering, with all the things you've done to help formerly incarcerated women, focus on their dancing, focus on therapy, focus on meditation. All the things you're doing are just exactly who you were then, but now you're free.
Thank you, Eve. Thank you. So that makes me want to ask you, from the very beginning, wanting to even come into a prison, right? And do something with women. And now, after I'm out, and I remember when I called you a few months ago and said, Eve, would you be interested in being on Reentry Rocks advisory board? Like, what drives you? What is the connection between you and women and this justice work?
I think deep in my heart, because I'm a survivor of enormous violence and didn't almost make it in this lifetime, I've always identified with women who get invisibilized, who get criminalized, who get disappeared, who get erased because actually of usually some form of violence that's been done to them, whether it's economic violence, whether it's racial injustice, whether it's misogyny, whether it's just all the lack of opportunities that racism and white supremacy, bring about. I've always identified and I've always felt like, look, the one thing I had was that I was white. I had privilege, right? I never felt terribly privileged when I was younger because I felt so violated. But when I got older, I realized I had privilege. And in that sense, like, I wanted to do anything I could to be of support, to be of service, to be in solidarity with women who didn't have that kind of privilege. And I think, coming into Bedford, was such a profound thing because I met such incredible women in that first group that we did, and then in the 8-year group that I did, the writing group, which spurred What I Want My Words to Do, that incredible film, and then 2 beautiful writing pieces. And what I learned, and I think what you learned, right, is that art is transformative, and this story, one of the reasons why I so don't believe in incarceration, right, is because I don't think it is transformative. I don't think it has anything to do with creating a space and creating a milieu and creating a world where people who have done crimes or done things that were not good for other people actually get to work on themselves and get to investigate themselves. But our group really did that. And I got to spend 9 years with some of the most self-seeking, determined women who wanted to know why they had done what they had done, were willing to go deep into their souls and uproot their past and their stories, and look at the societal reasons and the economic reasons and the capitalist reasons and the racial reasons and the personal reasons and really excavate all that. And it just taught me the power of writing and how writing can transform people, and writing invites us to our deepest selves so we can expurgate the wounds, and then we can heal the wounds.
Wow, that is amazing, Eve, and that's why we all love you so much. So can you speak a little bit about what do you see for Reentry Rocks? I mean, like, Reentry Rocks is really looking to grow. We're looking to get our own office space. We're looking to get our own kitchen space, our own dance space, so that we can have this whole creative arts thing going. We are looking to raise money, to just make a difference in New York City. They have all of these places all over the place. There's a lot of places for men, nothing for women. And it's important for me as a formerly incarcerated person to be able to build this, construct this. But one of our main issues is not being able to have the funding. So can you speak to that? Like, why is it important to have a program like this? And then why is it important for funders to see the importance and support us?
Well, I think you said it right there, why it's so important. I think, first of all, I think women coming out of prison have so many layers of difficulty, right? I mean, I've watched you, I've watched Roz, I've watched Judy, I've watched Kathy, I've watched Donna, I've watched so many women come out, and I've seen so many before, and the world is not inviting, the world is not welcoming, the world is not. Women have been away a long time, and the world has changed. Women don't come out with jobs. Women don't come out with apartments. Women don't come out with communities. Women don't come out. Everything's got to be invented at a much later stage in your life. And we know that women coming out of prison have the most vitality, the most desire to transform the world, the most desire to make sure what happened to them doesn't happen to other people. They have imagination, they have creativity, they're at the peak of their energy and the peak of their imaginations. So to me, this would be the exact time we should invest and really support women coming out of prison, because I think they are the leaders of our future. They understand. First of all, I've yet to meet maybe 3 women that I've met in prison didn't come from some kind of sexual or physical abuse. We know racial injustice is fundamental to how many women are going to prison, how many Black women, how many brown women. Our prisons are full. We know that women who have had no economic opportunities and don't get to get educated and don't get access to education. So for women to go to prison rather than to go to school, rather than to go to therapy, rather than to go to some kind of transformational, institution, it's just a crime. And yet women still manage in prison to go to college, to educate themselves, to find a way to move forward. So to me, these are our leaders. These are the most motivated, and they're women who actually understand what it's been like before and what it's been like then and what it's been like after, so they can actually instruct us on how to create systems, new systems, that don't bring about the same kind of outcomes.
Women impacting women.
Tell me what you want
Women's,
Rocket to be. What's your dream?
I often think about Reentry Rocks in a way of it being this massive program for women transcending and women, in the movement of creating a new reentry. It's not about the numbers for me. It never has been. It's more about just servicing the women and teaching women how they can get out of their own way and step into a new life. And what better way to do it than through someone like myself who's been formerly incarcerated, spending 20 years inside? That whole lived experience is really, really important. And one of the things that I understand about that is that it builds trust with the women. Once I tell my story, once I connect with the women, they just fall over the hill. They are so inspired and so moved. And it's like, well, if you can do it, Miss Sharon, we can do it. And so that's the reason why I appreciate everyone who's a part of supporting, including you. You've been one of our biggest supporters for so long. We embrace that. We thank you. We love you, and we're just looking forward to a new way of extending Reentry Rocks to the world. We
Well,
want people to
I want to
know.
say to anyone listening at this gala, because this is our first gala, and I consider it
Yes.
ours because I'm a part of this. You know, um, I really feel that Sharon and Reentry Rocks is an incredible place to put your money, put your resources, because we know, if you just look at Sharon, she's an example of somebody who has absolutely transformed a very, very difficult life, a very difficult experience, into positivity, transformation, lifting women up, taking what's happened to her and bringing it to other women so their lives can be transformed. And to me, in our V-Day world, we call those women vagina warriors. They're not motivated by money, they're not motivated by fame, they're not motivated by, they're motivated by a desire to see to undo and to unmake the terrible things that happen to them, and to make sure it doesn't happen to other women, and to uplift women by sharing their own experience. And you're one of those vagina warriors, and you're such a leader, and you're just incredible, your energy and your positivity and what you bring to every situation. And I just want to say, V-Day just supported this by giving a $5,000 grant, and I'd love to see people out there match that, support that. Let's get Sharon like the building she needs. Let's get her the support she needs. Let's move her forward so she can reach out to as many women as she can, but in the depth that she does it. Because I love what you say about, it's not about the numbers. It's about the care. It's about the connection. It's about
Yes.
building those relationships where women feel safe and listened to and heard and cared for, so that they get it deep into their bodies so they can give it to other women.
Most definitely. Eve, thank you so much. Thank
My
you for
joy.
your time, your
Happy
love.
first year gala. This is so
Yes,
amazing.
yes, yes. And we are excited. We're even excited to get past this pandemic, right? Because this has been such a difficult year for the women, for us, running the program and trying to change everything from in person to virtual. And so, oh my God, I love you so much. I
I
love you
love
so
you.
much.
I love you with
I'm
all
here. You're there. I just want to reach out and just give you a hug.
hugging you so tight. Mwah. I love you. And I love all
Oh,
the women out there. And
yes.
let's keep supporting Sharon, and let's keep supporting formerly incarcerated and incarcerated women. Let's
Yes.
abolish prison already. Let's do that.
Yes. Yes. Let's do
Let's
it.
create systems that are not based on cruelty and punishment, but on care and transformation.